that I got in this one was the fact that you said the course is unlike anything else and that it doesn't have an instructor, so to speak, or a director, that it just is what it is.
Yes.
And then to try to draw a parallel to that to the Maharishi and Napoleon Hill and Abraham and everybody that says this is the technique that you use to get there. So how can you summarize without having that? You know, I understand what you're saying. Is there a summary or simple technique or solution that you could say that the course does in that way to help you along?
I would say that it's so effective in deeply probing the unconscious and bringing stuff up into your life. In other words, since what's driving us is mostly unconscious, it's mostly unconscious guilt, until we're aware of it, we can't make any different choices, and we literally are going to be running. We are as run by a program as a computer is. And the thing that I think is most effective about it is that I think it's most effective in getting people in touch with what needs to come up, and then a way to address it. In other words, through its process of forgiveness, its understanding of forgiveness, not the pardoning that we do, but that process of being with whatever is, rather than judging it, rather than objecting to it, rather than insisting that something. In other words, it's as if it brings up the garbage very effectively, and then so effectively says, kind of takes you by the hand, and now here's how we address this. So it's twofold.
Would you direct your consciousness to delve into your subconsciousness to bring it up?
Well, it's like the lessons do that. The lessons and the information in the text automatically do that. That's what they're designed to do. It's why the beginning of the workbook says you don't have to like these lessons. You don't have to believe them. You can object to them all you want. But if you do them, they will do their part, so to speak. If you focus your attention like it says to do, without, see, what most people try to do with the lessons is understand them and study them. Well, no, they usually don't try to apply them. That's the problem. It's more, I need to know what this says. It's like, I remember my extreme arrogance in the beginning when I thought, well, I'm going to read this, and if I approve of it, you know, if I think this is a good idea, well, then maybe I'll practice it, you know, which is just entirely backwards, you know. But we think if I understand it, it makes sense to me, then I'll see what I'm going to do about this. But it's an absolute fact that I can't make a different choice about the way I'm treating myself or regarding other people and situations if I'm not conscious of it. You know, if I'm just being driven by stuff I have no idea that I'm being driven by, then I can get exactly nowhere. And often people don't start to change their minds until they're driven to their knees by something catastrophic. And a lot of people come to the course because something catastrophic has occurred, or they're just so supremely unhappy. But it would be great to just get into it before you have to have a catastrophe to make you say, is there something going on in my life that I don't know about?
Well, what would you say to the people that have difficulty in reading it?
I would say the difficulty in reading it is because of the fog in our minds. In other words, it's not because the material is difficult. It's that analogy of trying to look through here if this was all smeared up and you couldn't see out. Well, that wouldn't mean that there wasn't beautiful stuff out there. It means you can't have access to it, which is why the lessons themselves clear the fog or settle the dust. You know, any metaphor you want to use to recognize that clarity comes, which is why it says you do the forgiveness, you do the letting go, you do the practices first, and then the understanding comes. We want the understanding first. Well, you can't have the understanding first because although it's present, like right where you are, you can't access it with the fog in the mind.